Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me again today. And this story comes from Basildon. It's a follow-up to a story that happened back in May last year. 28-year-old Justin Jackson has been jailed for 3 years and 9 months after he doused 8 police officers in Petrol. Officers responded to reports of a stolen motorbike being driven dangerously, and after an 8-mile pursuit, the rider of the motorbike was cornered by police officers as he fled into a cul-de-sac in the Basildon area. The rider tried to fight with police officers, who were forced to deploy tasers in a bid to overpower the suspect. But as officers grappled with the suspect, a hostile crowd of 20 to 30 people began to taunt and hurl abuse at the police. One woman threatened the police officers with a hammer before Jackson ran towards them carrying a watering can full of petrol. As the officers were struggling with the rider of the bike, Jackson doused them in petrol before running away. As the officers battled against the effects of having petrol thrown in their face and mouths, members of the crowd started to shout, "Light them up." 2 police officers were hospitalised as a result of their injuries, as the officers on the scene requested urgent assistance. In total, 90 police officers swarmed the area to prevent serious harm to their colleagues. PC Andrew Bird, PC Matthew Cutt and the Chief Inspector Jonathan Baldwin were all present at the scene, and they spoke in a BBC documentary about the incident. It was shown 2 days ago on the 28th of September, and it looked back at what happened. PC Bird said that he was used to people shouting and swearing and telling him they were idiots, but nothing could prepare him for the events that took place on May the 5th. He said out the corner of his eye he saw a gentleman from down one of the alleys sprinting towards him full speed, and I tried to intercept him. We collided and fell to the floor. He had his arms wrapped around my leg trying to hold on to me. I was trying to control the man who had run out in the middle of nowhere, and this other chap appeared with a watering can. PC Bird added PC Matthew Cutts stepped in front to fend off the new attacker. PC Cutts didn't know what was in the watering can, but the initial thought was that it was acid. He said I could smell petrol, so I fumbled around to get my baton out, and once I got it out and put it behind my head, I struck him in line with my training. It was not a random act of violence, it was a controlled measure that was taught to me to get people away from us. PC Cutts then started to feel his skin stinging and a tingling over his body, and he realised that he was covered in petrol. Residents offered assistance by way of water to rinse off the petrol until the fire service arrived and hosed them down. After being covered in petrol, officers at the scene were acutely aware that any spark could result in a flame going up. One match, one lighter, one spark would have resulted in us all going up in flames and being disfigured or potentially dead. As we've seen from the video from Greenock the other day, where a man had burnt himself alive, officers at the scene recorded the crowd saying, "Who's got matches? Who's got a lighter? Let's set them on fire." The team began to panic as the people in the area were smoking, and officers were armed with tasers, which could have sparked the petrol also and caused severe damage. Chief Inspector Baldwin said, "I was hearing them shout, 'Light them up.' I don't know how we didn't just cut and run, but we all just stuck together." Backup finally arrived and several people were arrested. A team of detectives, including Natalie Backhouse, immediately set to work building a case that saw 3 people brought towards the courts in November last year. 28-year-old Justin Jackson from Ward Close threw the petrol over the officer and was sentenced to 3 years and 9 months. A 17-year-old from Basildon was disqualified from driving for 12 months and fined at Chelmsford Magistrates Court on August the 16th. Janine Justin, 47 from Basildon, was found guilty of possession of an offensive weapon at Basildon Crown Court, and she was sentenced to 9 months that was suspended for 18. She was fined £150 and complete 200 hours unpaid work. PC Cutt said it was an awful situation and you had to put on a brave face and stay calm. PC Bird said it was pretty much impossible to drive past without thinking about the incident. He said you get flashbacks and you remember hearing everyone say, "Set them on fire." On that day we learned you can be a victim and the experience has made us stronger. And I think that's been reflected recently in the murder of Matt Ratana in Croydon Police Station. All 8 police officers were commended for their bravery by Judge Samantha Cohen at Basildon Crown Court. And this definitely shows how these situations escalate very quickly. We've covered a lot of such stories recently where people have done these split-second decisions that has resulted in them losing a long time from their life. And he's very lucky to have gotten such a light sentence for potential attempted murder. So I really want to hear what people have to say on this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Follow us online as well at Scarcity Studios. Peace.